Hey, it's Miss Kellie Michele here, and I'm back today with a video about renting per room. Yes. All right, so I know we have probably heard, or you've probably heard about people renting rooms out instead of renting the entire place out. Of course, this is another strategy with midterm rentals, but there are some key things that you have to do if you decide to rent per room, and you want to make sure that this is going to be a logistic fit for you. All right. So let me go over a few things that you might not have thought about when it comes to renting per room that I want to make sure you are aware of. All right. So the first one obviously is that you need to put a lock on each bedroom, right? All right, so a lot of times some nurses do travel together, so in that case you don't need to do that. But in other cases, when you are renting out to complete strangers, you definitely need to have locks on your bedroom doors so that everyone's property is secure, because they don't know the other people they're living with, right? They're sharing a common space, but they have a private bedroom and possibly a bathroom to themselves. So you want to make sure that you put a lock on each door. Now, there are several different types of locks you can use. I recommend electronic locks. There are some inexpensive electronic locks that operate off of a battery. You can change the codes on them and things like that, so that you don't have to worry about keys and people losing that and all of those good things. So another key tip I want you to think about is the management of it all. It can be a little bit more management, not really a little bit, but it will be some more management when it comes to renting per room, because now you have to think about it. You are now creating a lease per person per room, right? So if you have a 3 or 4 bedroom house, that means you have 3 or 4 leases that you're creating, and these leases could start at different times. So you're going to have to keep track of who's coming in and out at what time and those different things as far as logistically. So if you are deciding to rent per room, make sure you are very organized. You are going to need some type of a system, whether that's a spreadsheet, whether you put it on your calendar, whether you have some type of a management system that you use to put these dates in to notify you when people are moving in and out. It's going to be important that you keep track of that, because you're going to have to market and try to get a new person in before one of these people leave. So imagine you're going to have to manage these 4 different rooms, right? You're going to have to market per room at different times. It could be a lot, but it can also be very beneficial. Now, the reason why I say it could be very beneficial is because you're going to make more money if you rent per room. Now, think about it. If you rent a whole house out, you have just one flat rate, right? But if you're renting per room, you're able to charge a certain rate per room that's going to amount to more than what you could receive off of the entire house. So that is a benefit of renting per room that, hey, might get you to say, all right, it's worth the extra management for me. Okay, so another tip that I want you to think about is making sure that everyone is protected and secured. And when I say that, I mean making sure you run your background checks and make sure that these people are going to be comfortable living together. Because you can definitely have a situation where things can turn pretty ugly. Now, even though you run a background check on someone, it doesn't mean that they don't have mental illness, that they don't have certain personalities that just don't work together. I mean, there can always be potential for some type of clash between people who don't know each other living under the same roof. So you got to be prepared for that, because that might be something else you have to manage. If people are not getting along and don't know how to effectively manage that by themselves as adults, they're going to contact you and probably complain about it. And that's when you might have to step in and provide some type of customer service to kind of resolve the matter. So that's something else you need to think about, making sure that everyone in the property, at least they're a good person to live in the house. And that's why we do our background checks. But we do our background checks anyway, regardless if they are going to be living in a single family or the entire unit, or whether or not they're sharing per room. That's going to happen regardless. But I think you better pay extra attention if you're doing a roommate situation, because again, we're putting strangers together. We don't know what's going to happen. So make sure you do your due diligence. Whenever you're renting to roommates, I do recommend you might want to actually have conversations with these people and kind of get more information about them and make a better determination of who would be a great fit with who, as far as who you're putting in the house, okay? All right, so I don't know how many of you, might have gone to college and stayed on campus and had roommates that you didn't know. But one thing that is always going to be a problem is who's responsible for what. Like, as far as keeping common areas clean, who does that? Is it going to be something where everyone is responsible for their own stuff? As far as like washing their own dishes and maintaining the kitchen. If they use something, they wash it and put it away. What about bathrooms? Who's responsible for cleaning common bathrooms if they're sharing a bathroom? Now, if they have their own private bathroom, of course, they will be responsible for cleaning it themselves. But if they don't, how do you work that out? Are you going to leave it to the tenants to kind of make that decision on their own? Or are you going to create a set standard of rules to say, hey, this is how we manage cleaning the common areas? Or are you going to have your cleaners come in and just make sure they come in once a week and professionally clean common areas for you so that you don't have any issues? So how are you going to manage that? You're going to have to determine that and make sure you have that in writing and provide it to your guests or even on your listing so that everyone is aware of how your property is going to operate, okay, if they're in a roommate situation. Now, I hope all of these tips are helpful to you guys. Now, these are just some things that I just thought about as far as logistically how you can do this and be successful as far as managing a house that you're renting rooms out of. But I'm sure there are more. But I just want to put these things on your mind. I hope that they are helpful to you guys. Now remember to like and subscribe this video. I do often put some links below. So if you want some resources regarding midterm rentals, make sure you check the description. Also, if you are interested in learning how to start your own midterm rental business, I do have my online course that is also in the description below. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.